it's easier to be sober for 10 years than it is to be sober for 2 months.
Mm,
Uh, it's just really interesting. We kind of like, it's very hard to get past the initial period, and then, later on there's things we have to do and look out for, but it's kind of like you're flying a plane, and now you can kind of just make sure it's on course, and check in with it, make sure to continually check in. But the takeoff is where the most focus and effort is put in. Yeah, that's what I would say is like you really there was a lot of practical tips I used really early on that I think about coming back to every now and then, but I don't quite need to go that full throttle. But in the beginning, I did. Um, I would write down the recovery activities I did for the day. I'd write down any unsound activity or slips, and I'd make sure I put pluses for the recovery activities I did, and I put minuses for the slips. Some of those slips they're not maybe only porn related, but could be double look, double
right.
looking at an attractive person, or even like overeating, or kind of going to some other thing. But yeah, that I give credit to Matt Dog Shoots of Porn Free Radio for that tool. He has an episode on it. But yeah, I would have a T chart, and I'd have pluses and minuses. Pluses were recovery activities, minuses were slips. And if I didn't do any recovery activities, and nor did I have any slips, it's a -1. So
Mm,
and that makes it more about just, oh, did I use it or not? Did I use porn or not? Because that's sobriety, but that's not recovery. Are you actually doing recovery oriented things? Some of those pluses would be, I went to a group today, or I exercised today, I worked out today, I meditated today, whatever those things could be. So I talked to a friend, I called a friend, or I helped somebody, I did something important or meaningful. So those are, I think those are two tips: the plus and minus, one day at a time, focusing on the day, and then I think thinking of thinking of balance, thinking of making sure that you're how are you doing in your relationships? How are you doing physically? How's your health? Are you exercising? How are you doing spiritually? Whatever that might mean for you, your purpose in life, these sorts of things. And kind of that's what Mac and I's check-ins allow us to do, is kind of audit ourselves. Like, how are we feeling about this stuff? I think it's a great thing to think about at this new year time, is to really think about, like, what do I want out of this year? And I like to think about goals as this kind of piece of the pie, kind of like financial, physical, relational, socially, hobbies, things I get better at and do
right.
for fun, and that helps me. So because you can focus on the one day at a time, but you still have like a compass, you still have a goal out there, something you're moving toward.